I can't believe this is still a thing. Today, this was the top of the Huffington Post, 7 days away from an election, and this is what the left is banking on? A joke about Puerto Rico, a comedian told 2 hours before Trump came on stage? I thought we were done with this yesterday. But the Democrats have so little to go on that they've just latched onto this like one of those pandas on the top of a pencil that you get in school. Oh, we got him now. Yeah, where have we heard this before? Even Jon Stewart thinks this is dumb.
Extremely vile so-called jokes.
Extremely vile so-called jokes. She name-checked my comedy album from the 90s. But to be fair, the guy's really just doing what he does. I mean, here he is at the Tom Brady roast a few months ago.
The great Jeff Ross, ladies and gentlemen. Jeff is so Jewish, he only watches football for the coin toss. Gronk, you look like the Nazi that kept burning himself on the ovens. Kevin is so small that when his ancestors picked cotton, they called it deadlifting.
Yes, of course. Terrible, boo, yes.
It's comedy. Look, no one's actually mad about this. It's all manufactured. Yes, I'm calling everyone out, and if you're still mad about it, it's because you're making it up. But most comedy has some root in truth, right? So if this was so bad for that comedian to say that thing about Puerto Rico, where was the outrage when it was being reported on 3 years ago? Trash crisis leaves Puerto Rico near the brink. The woman who wrote this piece was raised in Puerto Rico, has a master's degree in the history of Puerto Rico, and specializes in environmental reporting. So that's how I know this is all fake outrage. And none of these people, by the way, offered to go down there and help clean up Puerto Rico. But the left never lets a good crisis go to waste. So they're leveraging this as hard as they can in Pennsylvania. But you cannot make this up. The Trump card, full effect. Puerto Rican Senator Zoraida Buxo is apparently going to endorse Trump at his rally in Pennsylvania today. How you like them apples, libs? Look, does any of this move the needle? Probably not. There are no more undecided people. No one is waking up today and saying, I'm still wondering who I'm voting for. If they are, they should be considered for a CAT scan or incarceration. But I find it hilarious that the party that says more racist and insensitive stuff is zeroing in on this. So let's throw some rocks back at their glass houses. How about starting with the origins of the KKK and Democrats? Look, before some left-wing rag goes ballistic, I'm not saying that the Democrats are the KKK anymore, just like Republicans are definitely not, nor have they ever been Nazis. But in 1924, the Democrat National Convention was nicknamed, you can Google this for yourself, the Klan Bake, with one of the two major Democrat candidates openly an advocate of the Klan. And I'm quoting from the New York Times here, quote, "The most powerful bloc in the Democratic Party was the Ku Klux Klan." So, Dems, you want to go back to 1934? I'll go back to 1924. But anyway, let's just fast forward, forget all that. Let's go to the most recent war, when Republican Mike Lawler had a blackface costume picture resurfaced from years ago, and the liberal media all but burnt his house down. Weird, because they didn't have that much to say when Ralph Northam, Jimmy Kimmel, Joy Behar, or even Justin Trudeau up in Canada did it. Democrats are the party of Jim Crow laws, segregation, even internment camps, actually, that were, by the way, held constitutional by a Democrat majority Supreme Court. Hell, a Democrat presidential candidate even held a rally at MSG advocating for segregation in the 60s. Clinton and Gore in 1992 had a Confederate flag as their campaign logo. But one spotted a mile away from a Trump rally was apparently the end of the world. Joe Biden eulogized a former KKK member, in case you've forgotten. Before you whine about this one, Snopes, or whoever else is watching. This is from Newsweek's own fact check, where they said, needs context. In 2010, Biden provided a eulogy for Democratic West Virginia Senator Robert C. Byrd, who, in the 1940s, helped recruit new members to his chapter of the KKK. That's Newsweek saying it, not me. No context needed as far as I'm concerned. Biden was also famous for saying this.
He's going to let the big banks once again write their own rules. Unchain Wall Street. They're going to put you all back in chains.
I find it funny and insulting at the same time that the same party that wants to explore reparations and knelt down in the Senate building to virtue signal to the black community at the genesis of BLM, pushing this mythical notion that white people, especially white cops, were somehow gunning down black people in a genocidal number? Wrong. Oh, and we have the receipts for this one too. Where is the outrage for this? Lying to the black community. That's what these people did. The 2018 crime data, which you see right there on your screen, which was the most up to date at the time. It was published at the creation of the BLM community. White people were actually getting killed by black people at a rate 12 times greater than black people were being killed by white people. This is crime statistics, not me. Black people were also killing other black people at a rate 58 times greater than white people were killing black people. No outrage there because you couldn't raise money off of it, Democrats. And the money that the movement did raise didn't go to help a single victim of any of the crimes that I just described on screen. That should have been the real outrage for the black community. Some of the people who raised that money, by the way, are even being prosecuted for fraud right now. Democrats say they care, but they don't. And God forbid a black person realize that Democrats are full of it, so kindly noted in one of the probably most racist segments I've ever seen from an MSNBC commentator, who thinks that any black person that votes for Trump is somehow, in his words, stupid and uneducated.
But the sharpest divide in our politics today is education. It's whether you have a college degree or not. That is the likeliest determinant of whether you're going to vote Republican or Democratic. And that's why we're seeing larger numbers, and I met some of them in Western Pennsylvania, of Latinos and black voters who are moving toward Trump.
Got it. Okay, dude. And if you're not mad yet, you should see how some of the black leaders in the Democrat Party feel about white people. And an apparent black woman for Harris an organizer who's been to the Harris White House over 50 times, said this.
They got their people. They got all the trailer parks all covered. All of the people up in West Virginia in the hills, they covered. They got them all the way there to Wall Street. He did that. And we sitting there talking about the white women, forget the white women. They're going to do what they white men tell them to do.
Yeah, and the other person on that is laughing. Did you realize that white liberal women are the most reliable voting bloc for Democrats? And the supermarket, of course. But you do whatever you want, lady. Mayor Eric Adams also as well.
Every day in the police department, I kicked those crackers. Man, I was unbelievable in the police department when you keep 100 blacks in law enforcement. Came a sergeant, a lieutenant, and a captain. You know the story.
I could do this all day. Crazy racist stuff that Democrats say.
So say it with me. Si se puede.
But these extremists, as they say, they're not like us.
They not.
They are often the kinds of kids that are called super predators. No conscience, no empathy. We can talk about why they ended up that way.
Young black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word computer is. They don't know. They don't know these things.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
You kick every Latino out of this country, then who is going to be cleaning your toilet, Donald Trump?
Oh, that's no.
In the sense that, you know what I mean? When I'm saying that.
But if someone makes a joke at a Trump rally, even if it's factually accurate, woohoo, we can't have that. Literally Hitler, and Trump didn't even say it. He wasn't even at the event yet. But at a Kamala Harris rally, you can apparently joke about Mexicans stealing stuff, and it's totally fine.
Donald Trump said he was going to build a wall, and George Lopez said, you better build it in one day, because if you leave that material out there overnight,
Same Democrats that sat idly by while little Hamasites painted swastikas on college campuses to keep Jews out. They're mad about a joke that happens to be factually accurate. You people are ridiculous. If Trump is so racist, riddle me this, Batman. How many racists have received the Ellis Island Award next to Rosa Parks for their work in the minority communities? I'll wait. Oh, right. None. None ever. The left needs to just relax. I don't know, maybe watch a Dave Chappelle skit, thicken your skin, and stop whining about everything. If you live in a glass house, don't throw stones.
He loves the Constitution. He fights for what's right. He hates the bad guys. He's a freedom warrior. He's your freedom warrior. Watch Carl Higbie every weekday on Newsmax.